Chapter 3, Red Scorching Sands. This time we have arrived to a barren land that we could only describe as an endless ocean of sand that covers more than half of Australia. Kilometers and kilometers of emptiness makes this place look more like an alien landscape than our own planet. During the day the temperatures reach over 50 degrees Celsius. And at midnight less than -20, and more than 5 years can pass without a drop of rain falling. Even in these conditions, even in this red scorching sands, life finds a way. The first creature we find is an unexpectedly large and woolly mammal, about the same size of a horse. This ahit is one of the few creatures that can endure the harsh conditions of the desert. This individual is a male, and around 20 years of age he is starting to show the first signals of aging. Anyways, he can still gracefully gallop in an environment that would make most animals die from a heat stroke in a matter of minutes. This animal, descendants from rabbits, have several adaptations that allow them to survive in this unforgiving place. First, their woolly coat protects him from the sun and help keep them warm during the freezing nights. Their large ears help them to lose heat. Their slit-like nostrils stop sand from getting in the respiratory system during sandstorms. Their feces are as dry and hard that they are indistinguishable from pebbles, and their urine is 10 times more concentrated than the one of a human. They can survive several weeks with no water. However, from time to time they do need to rehydrate. For this ahit has a last card under his sleeve, their remarkable memory. They remember a place where they found water for up to 10 years. Sometimes when they come back to a river that they used to frequent and it has dried up, they still can access water by digging in the river's bed. They feed mostly on grass, roots and desert plants. They will munch into anything that provides them a little bit of moisture, including insects and small vertebrates. These creatures are solitaire, and aside from mating, it's rare to see two of them together in the same place. They mate during autumn and the females give birth to one calf. They will remain together for 1 year. After that they will part ways, and the young one will have to survive on its own. As we continue walking under the scorching sun, we find what looks like a city, full of 2 meters tall towers that stand in the middle of the desert. These are termite mounds. Several lineages of termites have evolved mound building to cope with dry and hot environments. Under each one of these structures, millions of termites full of proteins and moisture are a treasure for many insectivores. The largest of them all is that giant Echogna. This animal can weigh as much as 60 kilograms, and reach 1 meter tall when standing on 2 legs, making it the largest egg-laying mammal since the Cretaceous. They feed mostly on termites. They also attack ant colonies and eat some worms from time to time. They are also lonely creatures that tend to not interact outside from mating. After mating, the female will lay a single egg that will take 20 days to hatch. After that, the baby will be taken care of by the mother for up to 6 months. Past that time they will part ways. Not so far away we can see another creature feasting on arthropods. This is a Carrick, also called a marsupial fox for the similarities in the skeletal structure of this animal and the now extinct red foxes of the Anthropocene. The Carrick is, like most modern Australian marsupials, a member of the order Dasyuromorphia, and is more closely related to the tiny marsupial mices than to koalas or kangaroos. They spend the hottest hours of the day hiding in burrows, and are most active during the night and early morning. They feed mostly on insects, small lizards and scorpions. These last ones can make up to 40% of its diet, and they are completely immune to their venom. They are usually solitary creatures, and the females are known to be extremely aggressive and territorial, making mating season a hard challenge for the males that often get attacked when they try to approach a female. In rare occasions a very insistent male will end up dead. But in most cases the male will get the message after a couple bites. Those that do manage to convince the female will mate several times a day for a couple of weeks, after what the female will chase away the male. And after a short pregnancy of 10 days will give birth to 6 babies the size of a peanut that will spend the first 2 months of life inside their mother's pouch. After this period they will have to learn to hunt on their own. This little fella is doing his best, but he picked a rather too big prey item. This is the Pequot Lizard, and is one of the few lizards that are outside the menu of the marsupials. As this lizard has a nasty venomous bite that, even though is not enough to kill an adult Carrick, will be really painful, and will mess up with their blood pressure, causing symptoms that include blurry vision, vomiting and even fainting. And fainting while exposed to the scorching sun of the desert can lead to fatality. Luckily for the young Carrick, the lizard doesn't want to waste its venom in something that is not a prey. Also, trying to bite a predator implies getting close enough for the predator to bite too. So he will give a warn first. Showing a bright-colored flat tail and hissing is usually enough to deter most predators, and this time is not the exception. Once the threat is gone, the Pequot Lizard can go back to hunting. They feed primarily on other lizards, but the largest can also prey on small mammals and snakes. Their tail is not only useful as an intimidation tool, it serves many functions, including sexual display, thermoregulation, and maybe the most important, to drink. They use their tail as a frog catcher. The small drop of water that condensate on its tail during the morning are conducted to its mouth through capillarity, and this allows this lizard to survive in the driest regions of the desert. At the next day, the relative calm of this desert gets interrupted by a herd of bunbits, another large Australian rabbit descendant. These creatures are not endemic to this region and are actually not very well suited for life in this arid regions. The reason they are here is because every year they cross the desert in a difficult and dangerous migration from the southern to the northern bushlands. This way they can give time to the vegetation to recover. They travel in small herds formed by 20 to 30 individuals, leadered by a dominant male, usually the oldest of them all, and the one that remembers the route they need to follow. They have a notoriously big jaw and huge molars that help them feed on the extremely tough vegetation that grows in the desert and in the bushlands. They not only eat also twigs, tree bark and thorny desert plants, they triturate everything with their powerful jaws. They are also feed on hard nuts that almost no other animal could access without the use of tools. A large predator about 2.5 meters long is following the herd. This is the largest carnivorous creature currently living on the continent, the sandcrawler. This land-dwelling crocodile is the undisputed king of the desert. Not only is large enough to hunt down practically everything that lives in the deserts and grasslands of the continent, they are also very smart creatures. Back in the Anthropocene, crocodiles were among the smartest reptiles, being some of the few that exhibited complex communication and social hierarchy, as well as being some of the most caring parents of the animal kingdom. The sandcrawler takes this to the next level, despite mostly living alone. They have been observed to form small social groups from between 3 and 6 individuals that sometimes display some basic form of cooperative strategies. These groups are almost always formed by juvenile individuals that are not big enough to target large prey on their own. This adult female, however, does not need any help to take down any of the bunbits. She slowly closes the distance, careful not to be detected. And once she is close enough, she runs at a speed of 35 kilometers per hour. She can only do this for less than a minute, but that's enough. Once she gets a hold of the prey, she will not let go till she finishes her victim. As the rest of the herd runs in panic, one of the bunbits gets lost in the confusion. Getting lost in a place like this is almost always a death sentence. After 3 days, we found the lost bunbit again, died from dehydration and overheating, unable to reunite again with the group. The poor animal panicked more and more, running frantically till its body gave up. But nothing is wasted in this desert. The moment the lagomorph stops moving is what this family of atlas bats were waiting for. They descend upon the carcass and start eating like there is no tomorrow. They can eat as much as half of their body weight in one go. Actually, they would like to eat more, but if they do, they wouldn't be able to fly back home. The atlas bat is one of the largest and most successful species of bat currently living on the planet. This cat-sized flying mammals can be found soaring through the skies of all the arid and semi-arid areas of Australia, big part of Asia and the north of Africa. Large populations of the species have been found near the Atlas Mountains, from where they get their name. These animals feed almost entirely on carrion, only hunting in times of desperation. In the Australian desert, they are the only big scavengers, so they lead a more laid-back existence than their African and Asiatic cousins. Once they have reduced the bunbit to a pile of bones, they fly to a nearby cave where they will regurgitate food to share with the rest of the family. Not only their babies, but also sick and wounded individuals, and orphans they have taken under their care.